Welcome back to the Two Casual MMA podcast, the podcast for the casuals from the casuals. Kenny, we're back. It's been a little while. Life's getting in the way, but we're back on the train, mate. How's things been with you?
Good, mate. Good. Things are good. No luck. I think I haven't done a podcast since my fight. I don't think so. No luck in the fight, but yeah, a lot of UFC news since we've last chatted,
mate. Just quickly touched on the fight. Absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. That was I got to see it. Plenty of ticker. I'll give you that. Got plenty of heart, mate.
Need to get that win though.
Yeah, I know that was close, but it was like it was like razor thin. I thought. I don't know if bias got in the way, but I'm just like, Kenny won that.
Definitely not.
Kenny won that. But mate, plenty of UFC chat. Plenty of UFC chat, which is pretty much what we're here for. And we're just going to kick things off today with the UFC Abu Dhabi card. It was an absolute banger.
It was a good card.
For one that's not a pay-per-view.
Yeah, absolutely.
And mate, I thought I'd ask you, pardon me, what are like two big takeaways for you coming out of this card? Obviously, we're not going to be here dissecting the entire thing. But what are two of the big takeaways for you? What really stood out for you for this this Abu Dhabi card?
It was for one of them for me is Fig. Fig is a legit contender at bantamweight. He's got a lot of good wins at bantamweight already, and I mean he's right there, ready for a title shot. So Fig is a contender. That's number one.
Sorry to cut in there, but jumping off the back of the Davison Figueiredo thing, I am so surprised at how well he's doing at bantamweight.
Yeah, he's doing great. Like 3 decision wins, but he's beaten all top guys already at bantamweight. So
he beat Rob Font before Cody. Hey,
yeah, Rob Font, Cody, Cheeto. So
unbelievable.
Sick names, all legit competitors at bantamweight. So he might be a real threat to Sugar Sean.
Mate, I think a good fight for him next could be Piotr Jan.
That would be an absolute barn burner. That would be a sick fight.
I'm all for it.
Yeah.
And what's the second takeaway, mate?
My second takeaway, Tony's hinted at it. He's finally hinting at retiring. Just do it, Tony. He didn't look good at all. He half retired with one glove, but it's fully send the retirement, Tony. Come on. I love Tony, but it's getting a bit silly.
You think 8 losses in a row is too much?
Possibly, yeah.
Oh, bro. I think like it'd be so hard to not go out with not go out with a win.
Yeah.
It would be really, really tough. So I think they almost, you know what? Feed him Ryan Garcia.
Just give him anybody.
Just give him someone. But like, I get it with somebody that's such a legend. Like, it'd be so good to see him go out with a W. But at the same time, man, like,
at the risk of another loss of even looking worse.
He's got nothing to prove either. Fans love him. So, if he was to go out with this loss against Michael Chiesa, he's still going to be remembered as an absolute UFC icon.
Hang it up, hang it up. No need to keep going.
But I'm with you, mate. I think he should. I think he should just retire. There's an argument that some of his losses are against legit guys, and they are. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But like these last ones, this one wasn't even competitive.
Nah, looks very old and very slow. It's not looking good.
No, I agree, mate.
What are yours too, mate? What are your big takeaways?
Mate, my big one, it kind of hurts me because I'm a Sandman fan, and that was a high level fight, by the way.
That was very close.
But the biggest takeaway for me is I think Corey is going to go down as one of those guys that are like kind of like DP, where it's just so good, but just can't get the title. And he's got all the credentials, all the skills, but he's just one of those guys. It just seems like he's just still so far away, but whilst being so close.
He'll always just be on the cusp. Like he might even get title shots, but he might not be that next level.
And it's wild that he hasn't even got a title shot yet, considering how good he is.
Yeah, but that's also on him for taking fights against like lower ranked guys when you didn't need to. So yeah,
I think I said to you yesterday, I said, I think a fight with Corey Sandhagen and Sean O'Malley would be an absolute fucking barn burner. And I still think it would be
yeah,
because judging by what I saw from the fight today, it kind of felt like Corey was just training wrestling for the whole camp. It sort of felt like because
yeah.
in
You
some of
could
the
really.
striking exchanges, Umar was winning them.
It's coming from this camp, this Khabib camp, man. They're all surprising us with their striking. Islam did it. Bilal just recently did it. Umar's showing their striking. So maybe they've got something going on in that camp for their striking as well as their wrestling. It's unbelievable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. The funny thing is, this leads to my second takeaway, and I'm going to ask you a question: is it possible that Coach Khabib is better than Fighter Khabib?
At this rate, I think so. I think likely, like he obviously doesn't have that much of a legacy with his fight wins, like over certain people or like over a big division, but he's like he's coaching all these guys to world titles, so
It's unbelievable.
he's probably it's probably a bit like I think a lot of credit goes to his dad and to AKA as well, but yeah, he's stepping in and taking over.
Because you'd have to think that he played a major part in like Bilal beating Leon. Apparently, like Khabib like thought of a game plan to beat Leon Edwards, and Bilal executed it and it worked. I'm starting to think Coach Khabib's legacy is going to be better than Fighter Khabib.
At this rate, I think it will be. I think it's close to it already. So they got a scary team.
Scary team, bro. And I think Islam's going to be thereabouts for however long he wants to be.
Yeah.
I think Umar is going to be on the same damn path.
Yep, and then you got the one that's not the Bellator guy. He's come on, they're everywhere.
I saw something today. Habib Umar and the other bloke combined records 63-0.
Yeah, 3 undefeated. Like no one's beat him.
I think any time there's an Nurmagomedov, mate, I don't care if he's 10-1 on Sportsbet, I'm getting on.
But that camp specifically with Khabib taking over, they've stepped up another level, I think.
I'm all for Coach Khabib, mate. But it was a good card today. But like this Abu Dhabi card that happened today, it's got nothing on this Abu Dhabi card that pretty well got announced today, and I am psyched. And as we've spoke about in the past, there is nothing better than a UFC fight card where your stomach's in knots, you're shitting bricks, the anxiety is at an all-time high, because we've got two guys that we love to death, main event and co-main event, Max Holloway and Rob Whittaker, and against legit opponents. Ilia Topuria obviously being the champion, Khamzat Chimaev, they've rebooked it. What are your thoughts, mate? Epic or what?
It's epic. I love it. It's like you said, it's going to be nerve-wracking. But yeah, it's a stacked card from the top. Today's fight night was kind of just a prelim to the announcement for today. It was it's such a sick card from top to bottom. Be very nervous. But
and even it's a gun shirt, mate. It's a gun shirt. Shout out Culture Kings, by the way. But like besides those two fights, the rest of the card is unbelievable. It's Cyril Gane and Alexander Volkov. That's a sick fight. You got Rafael Dos Anjos versus Jeff Neal.
Sick fight.
Again, a sick fight. So there's plenty there. But the big one we want to speak about today, and you've hit the nail on the head wearing this Max Blessed Holloway t-shirt, right? So Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway fighting for the Featherweight Championship. It is an absolute fan-friendly fight. Two elite strikers going toe-to-toe. And I have to think that there is more than just the belt on the line between these two guys. And I know this sounds crazy, but this counts for Ilia too. This is his first title defense. But if he is to beat Max Holloway, so he's knocked out Alexander Volkanovski and then he beats Max Holloway, this is much more than just your average first title defense, I feel, for Ilia.
I think we're on the same page. I think I've got it noted down here. If a win here for Ilia puts him in that GOAT status of the featherweights, puts him right there with Volk, with Max and Jose. Like he's beaten two. If he beats Max, that's two of the GOATs in their prime. So I think you're spot on. I think this is a GOAT status featherweight fight.
Are you, like, another thing as well that you just touched on, he's not only beating two of the GOATs at featherweight, he's beating two of the GOATs, period.
Yeah. They're two of the greatest we've seen in the last 10, 20 years. So good.
And I have to think, like, obviously his win over Volk is huge, like humongous. If he goes to a decision with Max, it's still like shit, man. Like that you've just knocked out. Oh, you've just beat two of the GOATs. But if he was to be the first person to put Max Holloway away, damn, he's going to the stratosphere, that boy.
Yeah, if he can stop Max, that's unbelievable. He's very much in that discussion then. So I don't think that happens, but it's potential, I guess.
So my question to you, mate, like here, like we've just touched on Ilya, but I think the talk about Max is a little bit more interesting because he's obviously had those 3 losses to Alexander Volkanovski.
Yeah,
I think it's 2-1 still. I'm going to say it. It's still 2-1.
Never.
But is like, if he beats Ilya and he reclaims the featherweight championship, is there an argument that he is the greatest featherweight of all time if he is to win this back against Ilya Topuria? Is there an argument?
I think there's an argument now, but of course his argument gets stronger. But I guess the only way to find out is just to have Max and Alex fight for a 4th time.
I'm all for it. Yeah. I'll take it.
But I think, yeah, absolutely. Like a 2-time champ, like you won the title twice, come back. So absolutely, his argument gets a lot stronger if he does get the title back again against a different fighter.
And I think there's something that has to be said for. So everyone talks about Jose's 10-year run, and again, that's amazing in itself. But there has to be something said for resilience too, because Max already achieved so much in the sport in his featherweight reign, and then losing to Volk, 3 times obviously takes a bit of a hit. But something has to be said for beating everybody in between. And winning that BMF title the way he did was like stupid. It was stupid. And then to climb back after all that time and reclaim it after a couple of 5+ years of not having it.
Yeah.
I think that has to play not just as much as like a 10-year run, but it has to come into the equation, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Similar to the guy that's also co-main event in that card, Rob Whittaker. Very, very similar stories. They've just been there. They got the title pretty young, and now they've just been there the whole time, still waiting, just waiting for another shot at it.
I think Max and Rob are very, very much. They're very, very much they have the similar story.
Yeah, they've both been there. They both fight. They fight anyone. They fight all the killers, and they're right there, ready to take that championship again. What
do you think of that one, mate? Like before we move on to this our next show, what do you think about Robin Hamzat? Do you like the fact they've rebooked it, or do you wish it moved on from that? Or
I don't necessarily like the fact that they rebooked it. It's kind of an unnecessary risk for Rob, because obviously Hamzat is a huge potential. Like he could win this, so it's probably a bit unnecessary for Rob. They might be paying him, I guess. So I don't necessarily like that they rebooked it, because it should be Rob and Sean. But yeah, I'm still confident Rob can beat Hamzat now, though. More confident now.
There's a new thing. Apparently, Rob's been working on it. I was reading up about it, and apparently, going into this Hamzat Chimaev fight, that if you go into it with a little bit of influenza and start coughing in the octagon, Hamzat out. It's over.
Not gonna make it to the end of the fight. He's going to get sick before
the end of the fight. KO cough.
Yeah. He's going to get sick before the fight ends and have to pull out mid-fight.
But, mate, previously, we've spoken about this, we've gone back and forth, and I was probably leaning towards Hamzat prior, but I think I'm leaning towards Rob here. I think I think there's levels to it, mate, and I think he's jumped up another level, and it was shown in his last fight as well.
Yeah,
But
and what type of Hamzat do we get? Like the bloke's nearly died a few times in his last few fights. Is he gonna be the same? Like, this genuine question: is he gonna be able to still fight like he fights? Like, he's nearly died a few times. That changes people.
yeah, that's exactly right. Another thing is I can't fully commit to the fight yet because I'm like, oh, anyone can pull out last minute. Like anyone can pull out because
it could happen.
I don't think Rob's going to pull out. I'm worried about Hamzat though.
Yeah, that for sure. I'm sure Rob got some assurances that he would have a backup or something if Hamzat doesn't make the fight.
But mate, as I said, I think if Rob wins this, I think he leapfrogs Sean into title contention.
Yeah, I absolutely. Especially if Sean doesn't fight in that time. If Sean's still sitting out, for sure leapfrogs Rob. Yeah,
because Rob beats Askarov, and then he beats Hamzat. It's just, it feels a bit weird to just go from those two fights, like headlining the headlining that against Askarov, and then this co-main event slot 5 rounds with Hamzat, and then just go, and Dana just goes, oh no, now we'll book Rob and Sean for the title eliminator. It's just, it doesn't make sense. I think he jumps straight into it.
Maybe they're waiting for the results of 305, see what happens there, see how that plays out with the champ, whoever becomes champion and stuff. So Rob's is all about fighting, so he's not waiting around for that. Get it done, get a book, go.
Well, mate, I thought it'd be interesting because this, as I said, there is more on the line than just a title here. So I'm talking about the featherweights. Some of the all-time greats of the sport have come through the featherweight division, and it's always interesting because there's different ways of looking at it, of who actually is the featherweight goat.
Oof.
Like right now as we speak, I'm not looking in the future. I'm not talking about anything, and I'm not talking about peak either. Like if you took all of them at their peak, I'm just talking about right now, right here, right now, who is the featherweight goat? I thought both of us would do our top 5. It could be exactly the same from 5 to 1. I don't know.
I think it might.
I don't know, but we'll see. I'll kick things off here, mate. And I'm going to slot him straight in number 5, and I'm going with El Matador, Ilia Topuria.
Yep, I agree. That's my number 5 as well. He goes 5th
because
he's under 5th most in the division. So yeah,
because when you knock out somebody like Alexander Volkanovski, you have to straight away jump into like the elite of elites of your division.
Absolutely.
And I think if he is to beat Max, I think there could be an argument that he leapfrogs Max.
Yeah, he could. If he beats Max, I think he leapfrogs a few people. But for right now, number 5.
I got him at number 5.
Yeah,
mate. Who you got at number 4?
Number 4, I probably say it has to be Connor. Who else is it, right? There's no one else has been champion, right? It's Connor. The way he did it, the tear he went through, the guys he beat to get there, like it was, and he probably edges out Ilia just because of the notoriety, the fame that come with it. Like it's Ilia's, so they're pretty similar on a sporting level. Obviously, Connor on an entertainment level is through the roof. So he's my number 4.
Because here's another one. I think Connor edges Ilia as well because, well, both of them have the same number of title defenses, which is 0.
0, yep.
So they both done it similarly in the sense of they both knocked out the goats. So,
you're right. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's a good point.
But I think that Connor's is probably more iconic in the fact that Jose had a 10-year run. 10 years undefeated, pound for pound number 1 in the sport, and just to do it in 13 seconds, it just doesn't compare to what Ilia did. That was, I still think it's the greatest knockout in UFC history. And I saw on YouTube the other day they had a thing. It was like a poll, and it was, what is the greatest knockout in UFC history. It had two options. It had Conor and Jose or Max and Justin.
That's the debate.
And I went Conor and Jose, and it had 30%, and I was like, that is recency bias if I've ever seen it. Because
you're probably right.
I still think it's the GOAT. It's the GOAT knockout. But Conor's run was elite. But the interesting thing, the reason why I touched on them at their peak, is Conor higher than 4 if you took all of them at like their absolute peak?
It's maybe like when you take into account 155 Conor, maybe like at 205 he was unbelievable. So he might maybe. I don't think so for me. I think he still stays number 4.
Oh damn!
Just thinking about it, like the more I think about it, the more I think he's still 4.
I think it's very interesting, mate. I'm in a lead. This is tough. This is tough because, like, they've all sort of beaten each other in like a round robin thing.
Is it tough because you don't want to admit who's number 3 is?
No. No, but you're right, mate. Number three is the blessed man. It has to be. It has to be blessed.
Yep.
I know, like, he beat Jose twice. But like Jose's run it just tops it.
Yeah,
I don't care.
I think we're completely on the same page so far, mate. I think it does have 2 wins over one of the guys above him, but Jose just defended so many times, and his run was awesome.
And how many? Correct me if I'm wrong. Max had 3 title defenses.
Yeah. Oh, maybe
Jose,
Ortega. Yeah.
Frankie.
You're on the money. Yeah.
Is that it?
Possibly. I'll have to check.
I'm pretty sure because the only other fight he had in that time since winning the belt was when he fought Dustin at 236.
Yeah. You're right.
Right. So he had 4 fights in that time before he fought Volk and lost.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that. I want to move on because this is where it's tough.
It is.
Like who, mate? You hit me right now. All bias aside, the whole schmozer.
It's hard.
Who do you tell me who the featherweight goat is right now?
Jose Aldo.
And why is Jose the featherweight goat, mate?
I think it's the same. It's why he's above Max as well. It's that defense, that like 10 years, however many defenses it was. Like I think like you can't that longevity is incredible. Like obviously Max couldn't do it. Alex obviously couldn't do it. And maybe obviously Alex has probably taken far more risks than Jose did, but yeah, I think that solidifies him as number 1 featherweight goat.
I think either way you look at this, I think there's a valid argument for both of them.
Absolutely, yeah. Like you're not going to you can disagree with someone who's like if Alex is number 1, but it's not like it's a valid argument for sure.
I think Volk is the featherweight goat.
Really, you think he's number 1?
I do, yeah. Because just based on his resume and just what he's done, like what he's done to them, like the some of the iconic moments, like he look at his resume, right? It's like, but I remember we actually met Alexander Volkanovski at UFC 234 in Melbourne. At that point in time, he wasn't even Volk. He was just Alexander Volkanovski, fresh coming off the win against Chad Mendes. But if you look at his record right now, he's beaten Chad Mendes, Jose, Max twice in a row, Brian Ortega, Korean Zombie, Max again, Yair Rodriguez.
Yeah, it's a pretty good. Yeah, it is a pretty good record. A pretty good, like, there's a lot of depth on that. A lot of good wins.
Yeah, I think the biggest argument for me, putting Volk over Jose, is probably I carry more weight with him beating Max 3 times in comparison to Jose's 10-year run.
It's a tough call. I think it's a perfectly valid argument. Like, how do you pick between the two? I think they're both incredible feats. Like, it's so hard. So Alex has beaten both the other guys, so he probably deserves to be the number one. Like, it's very tough. But
Yeah, but if you ask a lot of people, like if you see a lot of when people are talking about who's the who's in the all-time GOAT status, like a lot of people put Jose like in the top 5. So I think more people would probably lean towards what you're saying.
Yeah.
Over what I'm saying. I because of the like when you think about it, yeah, like I'm talking about 3 fights, but you're talking 10 fucking years.
Yeah. But it's funny because an overall GOAT status, I think it's clear Jose's further up the ladder than Alex, but just a featherweight GOAT status, it's debatable. It's so odd.
Are you saying that because Jose has had success at different weights?
Yeah, and even he's still fighting now. He's back fighting. Like, he took time off and he's
an animal,
and he looks the same. Like, he hasn't looked like he's slept. So that kind of like helps that.
That's why it's interesting because you absolutely just touched on that there. Because if somebody said to me, okay, well what about this? What about the fact that he's done this in different? I'd go, fair enough. Like,
it's such a silly argument, but it's so good.
It's stupid, but like it's one of those arguments that I wouldn't say I'm passionate about it, but I'm like, I have my thoughts.
Yeah,
I have my thoughts for Volk being the GOAT. But if someone wants to come at me and say Jose's the GOAT, I'm happy to just nod and just be like,
yeah, you're not wrong. No, you're definitely not wrong. Like, neither of those opinions are wrong. Like, but it's fun. It's fun topic.
But it's so, isn't it? But like, that's all I've got to say is just the reason why I've got Volk 1 is because Max is so high up on a lot of people's all-time great list, and he's in the top 3 featherweights of all time, and beating someone of that caliber 3 times.
Yeah,
I mean, that has to say something. And just I think the way he did it in that third one sort of just like, ooh, like he just fucking smoked him.
And if he gets it back, he is clear number 1. If Volk gets a title back, yeah, he surpasses them all by a couple car lengths.
Do you think he has to beat Ilya though?
Yeah, I think it's better for him if he beats Ilya. So if he beats Max again for the 4th time for the title, I think it's still great. I think he probably still goes number 1, but yeah, beating Ilya is a huge part of that as well.
Mate, it's very interesting. This whole featherweight thing is getting more spicy now because, as we just said, there is much more than just winning a title, defending a title here at 308. This is legacy shit. This is
GOATs battling it out to see who the ultimate GOAT is.
Because Ilya's one of the GOATs already. I don't care what anyone says.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's only been 5 or 6 champions at featherweight, but yeah, he's up there already,
mate. Big one coming up 2 weeks time, and like I'm gonna tell a little bit of a story here. Last night I was saying to my partner Brooke, my lovely partner, shout out if you're listening or watching on YouTube. I said, nah, like I'm not, because I'm actually not going to USA 305. I'm very upset. I've just come back from Fiji. It's a lot of money spent. It's a lot, right? But
unbelievable.
I know you wouldn't read about it, but I was like, nah, like I'm not jealous. Like it's all good.
Never. No, I bet not. I bet you're not.
I was like, nah, like I'm sweet. I'm trying to. It's like I'm trying to talk myself like off the ledge of saying like, nah, like, it's all good. Like I'm fine. It's fine.
Is this an Eternal Plus card? It's just all Aussies and Kiwis fighting. It's nothing,
nothing
special.
And I've seen Izzy fight 3 times already. Like it's okay. It's all good. I don't need to see it. But no, I'm spewing. Like I won't be there at the actual event. But you're obviously going.
Yeah, mate.
How keen are you?
Yeah, I'm very excited. I was since my fight. This is the next thing I've been looking forward to. So. Like, cannot wait just to get like that when we first walk in the arena. It's so good. Can't wait for what's the Who song? Baby Abba or whatever it is.
Teenage Wasteland.
Teenage
Baba O'Reilly.
Baba O'Reilly, yeah. Like for him to play that.
That's mad. When
Can't
they hook
wait.
the pay-per-view. Yeah, it's sick.
Yeah.
I
mate,
love it. That's mad.
Can't wait for it. Can't wait for the boys' weekend with the UFC.
But mate, like regarding so this is your fourth Australian UFC pay-per-view?
Yep.
Is it?
No, be fifth.
5. Yeah, because 234, 243,
yes,
284.
Melbourne,
Perth,
Sydney. Perth.
Yeah, this is 5.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So my question to you is this. This is your fifth Australian UFC pay-per-view. And right now, like as it stands, like in regards to the card, where would you rank it?
Right now? Oh, it's difficult because, like you said, I've watched Izzy fight like 3 times now, 4 times, whatever it is. So maybe if it was someone else, I would be more excited. Someone I haven't seen yet. But the rivalry is a big one. Like it's a big fight, and it has to be top 3, I guess. Like,
yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think this one in regards to the card, I think in regards to overall card itself, I think it's probably 1.
Yeah.
But I think in regards to hype, I think it's probably 2. I think 243 felt bigger because it was Marvel Stadium, Robert Whittaker versus Israel Adesanya, like the Oceanic side of things. But either way, nonetheless, you're gonna have a sick time. It's a sick card.
It definitely ranks above Izzy and Strickland.
Yeah, it does. Just because the more of the bad blood as well.
Yeah.
I think. But mate, I wanted to talk to you about Israel Adesanya leading up to this before we wrap up.
Yeah.
This is like in regards to like we spoke about at the start. There's a little bit of a theme here. Like we spoke about at the start with Tony Ferguson. Hang up the boots, the boots, hang up the gloves, and then we spoke about like Max and Ilya. There's more than just the title. I feel like here at UFC 305, there is way more than just the title on the line for Israel Adesanya. I feel like his career's on the line.
Really, that's huge.
I feel like his career's on the line here in Perth. I truly feel if he loses this fight against Dricus, his career's over. He's done.
Like we never see him fight again, type thing, or
you never see him fight again. You never see him fight.
Wow, that's a big call. I think
because what's the point?
I think he's still a fighter. He's still a fighter. Like he'll still need to fight. I think he might not need to financially, but I still think we see him fight. It's still competitive. Like, yeah, it's a big call for him if we never see him again.
But who does he fight? If he is to lose, who the hell does he fight?
I mean, there's the Strickland rematch. You can try and get that one back. Like you might want to win. Like, but I think that
it's hard though, isn't it?
Yeah. Does he maybe he goes into some celebrity boxing or something like those influencer boxing or something? I don't know. But like, I don't think any of that happens. I think he still fights. If he loses this, I think we still see him in the UFC again.
I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
Because he's spoken about now. It's not about the belt. It's about taking heads.
Yeah.
Well, mate, if you don't take this head, what's the point? Because he said, I want Dricus, I want Strickland, I want Hamzat. But like if he loses this to Dricus, yeah, the grudge match is there with Sean Strickland. But somebody of the magnitude of Israel Adesanya, this is not just like Joe Blow. This is someone that creates some magic. It's just not the same when there's no belt on the line or there's no like. It just feels, I don't know, man. It just feels like a consolation prize, if you will. And I feel like Izzy's better than that.
It is odd. Like just thinking of Israel Adesanya in a co-main event I don't think that happens. Like he's probably too big for that now. Even if it's like to fight for the title. So Izzy being in a co-main event spot would actually, feel odd. So there may be something to it. maybe.
The only other thing is, I know a guy with a belt that will happily welcome him to 205.
Yeah, that could. He would do it. That would. Oh, it's so tough. I don't know.
That's the only fight I feel. If he loses to Dricus, there is one fight left, and that's it.
Yeah. You might be.
It's
You might
1-1
be.
in the UFC. Make it 2-1, Izzy. Go for it.
You might be onto something, Steve. That sounds like a good idea. So maybe we'll see that if he loses. But I think I don't know if he loses though this week or next weekend. I think he might get the win against Dricus.
I think it's tough, mate. I'm really, really looking forward to the lead up in particular, because there's a lot of shit here, mate. There's a lot of bad blood here, like leading up to it. And it's interesting, mate, because like I was listening to Michael Bisping, and he was talking about it's almost like a changing of the guard moment. So it's kind of similar to welterweight. That's just happened in a sense, because Leon's had this undefeated streak for a long time, and everyone's talked about it's been Kamaru Usman, Colby Covington, Leon Edwards, Jorge Masvidal. It's sort of just been like all up in the open, and in a sense, Bilal winning the title it's almost like a changing of the guard moment, and he thinks it's going to be the same here with the middleweights. He's back in Dricus for the win. He thinks because it's been a bit of time since Izzy's fight, and he just thinks that it's just that there's people forever just up and coming. I think he just thinks there's more hungry people in the sport and in the division now, and I can understand. As good as Izzy is, I think what they say, father time doesn't wait for anybody. Not saying Izzy's old at all. He's still very fresh, but yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough.
And this could be a great opportunity for Izzy to kick that down and cement himself as one of the greatest of all time. Like, if he does win this, I think he's got the belt back again. Like, he could very much go down as in top 5 all time. Like, so it's a very interesting match. A lot of consequences. Can't wait to watch it live.
Because we're talking about it again before, with Max again. There's a recurring theme here. Something also has to, like, Izzy has the title defenses, but there has to be something said for just biting down in the mouthpiece and just going, I'm going to take every fucking fight here. I'm going to, and a 3-time UFC middleweight champion. Something has to be said for that. That's unprecedented. No one's done that before.
No, and like you said, he's just taken every fight. Like, he was a champion for so long, just so active, and then like 3-time champ. I think it holds a lot of weight in that argument. So,
gun to your head, you think doesn't matter what happens in 2 weeks' time, we see Izzy fight in the octagon again?
Yeah, I think we do. I think we see him. There's some fun fights with him, in middleweight still. Obviously, Strickland rematch, Rob again if they want to do that. Hamza, I think they could all definitely headline a fight night or something. Like I said, I don't see Izzy fighting in a co-main event. So
no.
I still think he fights, whether that's for the 205 title, 205 title or a fun matchup. I think we see him again.
Bro, I don't even think we see Izzy on a fight night, like even a big main event in Abu Dhabi, or like I think it has to be a pay-per-view.
Maybe maybe a big fight night in New Zealand or something.
Because I think since 2015, I think that he's probably the second biggest star in UFC history.
Ooh, that's big call. I don't not sure about that, but he's definitely up there. I think Conor and Ronda take number 1 and 2, but he's close.
I think as well, mate. The biggest thing for me when I'm thinking about Izzy right now is there is a lot of build up here. There is a lot of bad blood. There is a lot of tension. I feel like this loss, if he is to lose, it is so deflating. It would be so hard to come back from all that built up animosity, all that built up tension. Oh, Africa versus Africa, you know, like you know, all that nigga shit. There is so much. I feel like there is so much pride here. If he is to lose, you can just burst that beach ball just
it's deflating, eh?
Very deflating. I think there's just a lot more on the line here, especially as well than just the title. I think there is pride, career. I don't know about legacy because I think Izzy's legacy set in stone.
Yeah,
but I think there's a lot of pride, and I think a career is on the line here in Perth. And I'm absolutely devastated that you get to see it and I don't.
Well, hopefully he's aware of that stuff as well. When we get contender Izzy.
Oh, I love it. I love that.
I'm not the biggest Izzy fan, but I would love if he went out there and just dismantled Drickus and just cemented that he is a man.
Because there's something different about Hungry Izzy. There is.
He's an animal. So we'll see. I'll see live. You won't.
I'll say at the pub.
Can't wait.
I'll say at the pub when people yell out and say, "Oh, Izzy, just put him in a guillotine." I'll just be like, "Oh, stop!" All those people that don't know anything, that absolutely killed me. Do you remember before we go? Do you remember that time? The last time we watched a fight at a pub, it was Max Holloway versus Brian Ortega, and I can still remember there was people down the front, and they said about Brian Ortega because at that point Brian was the favorite, and they said. I remember they said about Ortega, they're like, Ortega, just all you got to do, just punch his head in. I'm just like, mate, you are coming up against an elite striker. You are a submission specialist. You know nothing. I was done. I was like, I'm finished.
The Belmore, was that? Was that the Belmore?
The Belmore Hotel. Shout out to all the UFC fanatics at the Belmore Hotel. But anyway, that's a story for another time. Mate, that was a pleasure. It was a pleasure as always. It's always fun to get on and talk a bit of UFC.
Love it.
And we'll get on again next week talking about I think it'd be all things Perth, mate. All things UFC 305.
We'll have to do predictions and previews next week because I'm down in Perth on Wednesday. So
let's do it.
Get it all in.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Thanks, mate. It was an absolute pleasure. As always, guys, if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button. Do what you got to do. Enjoy. Hope you enjoyed the episode. We enjoyed delivering it, and we'll see you next week.
See ya.
Thanks, Kenny. Cheers, mate.
Cheers.